time. Now I'm finally getting in the game. It's about time. This is my time. This is my time. The only thing I consider impossible is losing. Waiting on the sidelines for a long time. Now I'm finally getting in the game. It's about time. This is my time. This is my time. The only thing I consider impossible is losing. I've been waiting on the sidelines for a long time. Now I'm finally getting in the game. It's about time. This is my time. This is my time. The only thing I
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to TDPHINSTALK, home of the real Miami Dolphin fans. Before we get started on the topic, man, I gotta give credit where credit is due, man. I thought Boston were gonna beat the Heat in 5 games, and tonight the Heat has earned themselves a right to lose in 6. Congratulations, Miami Heat. They have earned the right to lose in 6 instead of 5. I am highly impressed. Sneaking in there, getting a victory. Very sloppy play by the Boston Celtics tonight, but they still on that hangover from the 76ers. But good game tonight, though. Good game tonight. Tatum just disappeared. Something was wrong with him. I don't know what was wrong with Tatum. He didn't want the ball at the end. He kept turning it over. Something bothering him. And they're going to have to fix that before they go into the next game. But congratulations, Miami Heat. If you're a Heat fan, you should be very, very happy because your team just earned you one more game before they lose it all. Okay, so now it's Celtics in 6. So congratulations on it not being Celtics in 5. All right. Y'all hit that like button. Stop it, bro. Miami was what's wrong with him. Well, I mean, it wouldn't Miami that much if he scored 30-something. It wouldn't Miami that much if he scored 30-something. Hey, listen, they just turning the ball over late. That's on them. They were up 10 at one point, and they just kept turning the ball over. It was that simple. So at the end of the day, they'll clean that up. I mean, this is Celtics. They give you these games. This is what they do. Now, I know the Heat fans, they're going to be riding the high. They know they're going to lose the next game, but they can be like, oh, but we stole one, They're going to go to Miami, probably get swept in Miami. No, he'll win one in Miami. I always got you winning one in Miami. But yeah, Celtics in 6. It'll be over in 6. But it's going to be a good series. At least the Heat, that's what I like about it. At least tonight, the Heat actually at least made it an entertaining series. So this will be very enjoyable to watch. All right. So the Celtics are only made of 3s. That's why they can't keep up with the Heat. Well, I disagree. Matter of fact, I actually feel like they should shoot more 3s. I think Tatum and Brown, they try too much to get in the lane and go to the basket. That's the last series. They're taking their last series strategy and bringing it into this one. And I think that they don't need to do that. You don't need to attack the basket as much, even though you can get to the basket in this series. But just shoot the lights out the ball. Just shoot. Against the Heat, just shoot. Because the Heat are going to live by and die by the three. But the problem with Boston right now, and they'll adjust. That's what they do. They're still in the last series. That's all that is. They're still sitting in the last series, hesitating to jack up the three, trying to get in the lane. You don't need to. Just shoot the ball. But y'all will see that going forward. B. Glenn said, TD, tell the folks what I said before the series started. Breon said Celtics in 6, man. He know what time it is. All right. Let's see. What makes you think Spo won't adjust? Spo will adjust. But again, Boston is the more talented team. At the end of the day, when you turn the ball over like that, and a lot of them were boneheaded turnovers, jumping in the air without anywhere to throw the ball, just a lot of boneheaded stuff that they did. I mean, y'all know that. Just a lot. I mean, y'all watched the game. Boston just blew it. Heat were the Heat. Boston made a lot of mental errors. And at the end of the day, they'll clean them up. This is what they do. But 1B showed up tonight. Jimmy Butler, 1B. He showed up tonight. He made a lot of his mid-range. That's what carried the team overall late in the early in the fourth quarter. But yeah, man, good game for the Heat, man. Good game. Like I said, Celtics in 6. Congratulations to the Heat. They already crushed my prediction of 5. Now it's Celtics in 6. So this will be fun, all right? All right, anyway, man, let's get to these Dolphins because y'all going to have to talk me off the ledge. Y'all going to have to talk me off the ledge. Y'all gonna have to talk me off the ledge, man. What up, Color? Lakers in 6. You can kiss that goodbye. Lakers in 6. Man, if they don't figure out a way to stop Jokic, it's a wrap. Anyway, let me get to the Dolphins, all right? Because I need y'all help tonight. I ain't gonna lie, my mind be going crazy today. And I don't like it. I don't like having this feeling. I don't like having this feeling. My team got me nervous, man. My team got me nervous. I'm trying my hardest to be so positive about our team. And it's a lot to be positive about. I can't shake history. Oh, I can't shake the past. And there's a specific element to our team that I just can't shake. A few elements, actually. Number one is the offensive line. Number two, injuries. And number three, Tua Tagovailoa in general. I want to be positive. I want to just know that we're going to be fine. Oh my gosh. I ain't gonna lie, it's just nerve-wracking me though. It really is. Like, I was bothered all day, y'all. I'm just like, you build a team and you build it up to win it all. Like, I'm gonna read the super chats. I'm gonna get to them. I promise y'all I will get to y'all super chats. I promise you. I will definitely read them, especially since YouTube took my monetization away. So I will read them extra energetic. We got to talk about these 3 things, okay? We're going to talk about these 3 things tonight. So again, number one, O-line. Number two, injuries. Number three, I'm going to actually add one. Number three, defense. And number four, Tua Tagovailoa. I'm exhausted, y'all. I'm exhausted and it's starting to drain me. It's starting to bother me. Like, and I'm not saying this to say it. I'm serious, y'all. It's starting to bother me. I feel like this year, so much is invested in wanting this team to win. And as much as I say we're going to win a Super Bowl, we're going to do this and we're going to do that, I hate the fact that every year I talk about the symptoms we have on this team that can prevent us from winning a Super Bowl. And it angers me that all those symptoms are technically still here. All those symptoms are technically still here. I mean, I want y'all to really think about it, right? If Byron Jones was healthy and never was hurt, nobody would have had a complaint and we would have had confidence in our secondary. And I'm like, why should I feel different that we brought Jalen Ramsey in? When X always getting hurt. We didn't have terrible safety play. But why do I not overwhelmingly feel like ecstatically comfortable because we got Elliott? Why do I not feel better about our offensive line? Why do I not feel better about the run game? Why do I feel worse about our tight end group? Why? Why am I trying to sell myself that Tua is going to be an MVP level quarterback this year? Why do I believe that Tyreek and Waddle are going to stay consistent and ball out even more? Why do I not feel like McDaniel will be better as a coach? Because he is who he is. Not bad, but we overvalue him. When there's been a lot of things you can point to him as issues as well. Why do we hide our scars and tell ourselves this is the year? Even though it has to be. Even though it has to be the year. I'm bothered. I'm bothered. So let's talk about it. The Miami Dolphins went 9-8 last year. And if you want to be politically correct, we went 9-9. 500 team. We got better on offense and got worse on defense. We traded off. And some people would say, well, the only reason we got worse on defense was because of injuries. But that's like saying the only reason we were bad on offense the first 2 years was because of injuries. Somebody said 9-9. How? We lost the playoff game. That was an official game. That's how we ended up 9-9. Y'all not including the playoff game. So when you add that, the math is mathing. Um, our offensive line, y'all. I was watching a show today, a replay on YouTube of a show. They were talking about the Dolphins. I don't know if y'all saw it with Mina Kimes and Swagoo and the whole crew. I don't know if y'all saw it, but I watched it and they made a lot of good points. But it bothered me because the points they made were so on point, but it also exposed even more issues that we have. And one of the main things that it exposed was our offensive line, even with Teron Armstead. And I thought about it, and I never said this to y'all because it never registered. You know how I always tell y'all think that we're automatically going to be this great defense when half of the defense doesn't even fit Fangio's scheme? Do y'all remember me saying that? But I never applied that to Mike McDaniel's scheme. And they brought that up today, and I was educated because I was like, they are so right. Why didn't I think of this? But Mike McDaniel's passing game and run game, it's the same offense, same offensive principles and schemes. And the reality is, we don't even have the offensive linemen that actually fit the scheme. Not even Teron Armstead. As they eloquently pointed out without saying that, at that tackle position, you don't just need a strong guy that can keep people from the quarterback, but in zone running and stuff, you need a very athletic guy like Trent in San Francisco. And they were pointing out how we were using silent count a lot, and our tackles are always late on the silent count. Teron Armstead, almost every play late on the silent count. How our levels aren't the same in run blocking. And someone said the only reason Armstead was slow because he was laboring injury pretty much. That's always the case though with Teron Armstead. If you don't know that. But in a few plays, they were breaking the stuff down and they were showing all the flaws in the O-line. And we're talking about some of our best O-linemen. Not the bums, even though they were showing those too. But then the level blocking in the run scheme and play action. Then they talked about Tua. And Dan said something that I've been telling y'all the last few days that people have been getting mad about, but it's time to stop trying to make Tua more than what he is. He's not a Lamar. He's not those type of guys. When it's not there, get rid of the ball. And also, Tua don't be. They pointed it out themselves. Tua sometimes don't even see the wide open receivers. He don't even see them. They went over one play. A guy was like literally so wide open, and it was the first read. Didn't even see him. And the reason why he couldn't see him, in my opinion, because he couldn't see over the old line. It was a bunched up line. All I know when I watched that video today, if y'all ain't see it, you need to go see it because it really exposes so much with our team. It exposes so much. The play he got hurt on in the Packers game. Yeah, that play. The receiver was literally wide open and the ball should have been gone. He didn't even see it. Then he rolled out of the pocket and tried to make something happen. Some of these injuries don't even have to happen. He's just not even making the reads. Or again, he making the reads, he just can't see. He just can't see. It's crazy, man. Let me hit this super chat. Too many piling up. Will cutting Ogba before June 1st allow the Dolphins to bring in a quality guard and Taylor Lewan? I don't know if that's their plan. Let me do this though. I could pull up Emmanuel Ogba's contract and see if that's actually realistic to move on from him. In 2023, he's a $17 million cap hit, but dead cap is $21 million. Highly unlikely. Highly unlikely. They don't have an out until next year. So no. Mm-mm. Let me see here. Give me a second. Let me see if they can give me a second. Let's see what the dead cap would be. 6-1 release, dead cap, losing $3 million, pre 6-1 trade, post 6-1 release. Give me a second. Yeah, if they were to release him, he'd be 17 million dead cap this year, 4 million next year. I mean, it's a waste. You might as well have him on the roster if he's gonna be 17 million dead cap this year. That's how much he's getting paid. The only savings for the Miami Dolphins in an Ogba situation are trades. The only savings are trades. And who's gonna want to take over that $17 million contract? That's not happening. Okay. Zach said, did you see we got wind for cheap? Yeah, I did see the deal. So I like the deal. Um it was less than 5 million, pretty much 3 cuz it with incentives. So that's a good move, but when you invest, the 3 million, matter of fact, I want to look him up too because I want to see what's the guarantees. Hold on. Give me a second. I want to look at the guarantees real quick. They still don't have it listed here, so I'll wait on the guarantees. They still don't have it updated yet. So once we know the guarantees, that'll be interesting if they guaranteed him his money. Um, it's called PTSD. Yeah, I mean we all got a little bit of PTSD with this team, but mine is actually in the moment. And I'll talk more about that in a moment. Taiwan said, I wish the Dolphins were like the Heat. The Dolphins always underachieving. The Heat are always overachieving. TD, we in for a very long season. Yeah, I don't see the Heat are like Buffalo though. The current Heat. Like right now, this version of the Heat, they're the Buffalo Bills. Good team, can go far, but they ain't putting nothing in the case this year. Um, but yeah, O line. Back to the O line. These guys aren't even the best fit for Mike McDaniel's scheme. But here's what's confusing to me. Mike McDaniel doesn't care. That's what I don't understand, and that's what I don't like. Mike McDaniel doesn't care, and he feels these guys are just fine. And I have to ask y'all, do y'all agree with Mike McDaniel that the offensive linemen that we had last year are just fine? Do y'all agree with him? Is he right about this? The old linemen from last year are good enough. That's fine. Because this is what he believes. But how can you believe that when these guys don't even fit your scheme with their athletic profiles? Austin Jackson ain't as athletic as he once was post the injuries and the continued injuries. Eichenberg don't have the athleticism with his short arms. Armstead always hurts, so you can't get the best version of himself. Connor is out of position. Playing well, but that's the center position. That's why centers don't typically get paid much. You bring in Wynn, he got short arms, a penalty machine, injuries. We don't have the athletic guys like San Francisco have on their O line. We don't even invest in our O line like that. Somebody said he will need to adjust his scheme to fit the players. But how can you do that with O linemen? The O lineman you have right now, you would be better served trying to be a power run team. And that ain't what they doing. That ain't what McDaniel wants to do. He wants to do zone blocking outside. Beyond that, though, thing about the O-line, number one, we're hoping a few players get better. We're hoping that Armstead, Jackson, and these guys can stay healthy. And we're hoping that we can run a scheme that will be effective and conducive to be able to run on a consistent basis. Because when we did run well. But and a lot of times the reason why we ran well is because we lulled the defense to sleep because we passed so much. And when you lull them to sleep and then you hit them with like 6 runs in a row, like we've done, they're not expecting that. Go back and look at a lot of our runs. Linebackers staying at bay. They're expecting to play action. They're timid. There's some lanes. The running back ran through. That's because we lulled them to sleep because of how much we were throwing. But when you run on a consistent basis and they're playing it that way, can we be as effective? I don't know, and I'm hoping we can. And the one thing that you really don't want to talk about much is injuries. You know, you don't want to just be discussing injuries. You can't assume that they're going to happen. You know, you got to operate off of they're not going to happen, right? But then when you go through our starting 22 players on the roster and you say how many of them were injured, how many of them are coming fresh off of injury, it's a massive concern. I mean, think about it. You go through it, 1 tight end, 2 running backs, Mostert and Wilson, Tua, Armstead, Jackson, and I'm probably missing one, but that's 6 out of the 11 right there. 6 out of your 11 offensive starters coming fresh off of injury. And like I said, I'm probably missing one. If he starts, that'll be 7. Then when you go on the defensive side of the ball, Ogba, X, Brandon Jones, and whoever you want to count in that secondary, you could probably add another 2 or 3 starters fresh off. Nick Needham in the nickel. Basically, what I'm saying is about half of our starters coming straight off of an injury, a major injury. One area that I have my biggest concern that nobody else is concerned with is the defense this year. I have major concerns about the defense this year. Nobody else does, but I do. Why? Because everybody's toting Vic Fangio's name around. Just toting his name around like it's the end all be, and we're guaranteed top 5 defense because of him. Vic Fangio is working towards getting the personnel that he wants. It doesn't all happen right away. It doesn't happen right away. Somebody said because of the track record. That's funny. I know the defense didn't play bad, but it just reminds me of Vic Fangio's last 3 years in Denver. I forgot the exact records, but they were like 7-10, 6-10, like 7-9 or something like that. You know what Denver Broncos record was? Let me pull it up. Make sure I ain't tripping. I got it here. It's coming up. Make sure I ain't tripping here. All right, here we go. Yeah, this is the Vic Fangio Denver Broncos. 3 years. This is the Vic Fangio's Broncos. 7-9, 5-11, and 7-10. Last in the division. This was Fangio's Denver Broncos. 7-9, 5-11, 7-10. Now again, we're banking on the defense. So what was his defensive rankings? The first year they were 10th, but before him they were 13th. They were already good. So they went from 13th to 10th when he got there. The next year, they were 25th. 25th ranked defense the very next year. And then this is the year that everybody loves, where they're like, oh, Fangio. He was third 2 years ago. We also know the talent that was on that team and that roster. And by the way, these are just points. These are just points. And in the takeaway department, Fangio did nothing but got worse and worse and worse in the takeaways. Before him, they had 8 takeaway. Eight takeaway to giveaway ratio or whatever. That's what you call it. Takeaway giveaway ratio. This is their rank. Before him, they were ranked 8th. When he got there, they were ranked 13th. The next year, they were ranked dead last in the NFL at 32. And then he went to 15 that year, the good year. Mm. Hold on. Give me a second. Let me pull this up. All right, we good. And it won't come up. It worked earlier. It's just angering me. Oh well. We got time for it tonight. You're saying that like we have a bad defense. Saying what? Again, I don't think Dolphin fans realize the scheme fit in personnel. Y'all think because, like, do you understand that? Let me give you an example. Do y'all not understand that if you have the number one defense in the NFL, and just hypothetically say you zero blitz and ran man to man, no safety help all game, and you had the number one defense in the NFL, those same amazing players and great players that fit that scheme, if you switch to a zone, you might be the 32nd ranked defense in the NFL. Stop thinking just because you have good players for one scheme that translates to the other scheme. A lot of players in the NFL, at least 90% of them, are very scheme specific. Very scheme specific. Stop thinking that every player can do it all great. It's not typically the case. Certain guys fit certain schemes better. We have a lot of good defensive players. Just like Christian Wilkins, for instance. He's an amazing defensive player. But in a Fangio-led system, again, I could be wrong. He's going to make a lot of run stopping, but he ain't what Fangio is looking for in the pass rush at the defensive tackle position. He's just not. In a Fangio system, he'll be considered more of not even relevant outside of the run game. And even in the run game now, when you got 4 guys on the D line instead of 5, it's a little tougher for them guys in the run game. Now you rely on the linebackers a little bit more when you got 4 on the line versus 5. We're used to 5 guys on the line, 3 in the middle, 2 on the outside. And I am very concerned about our defense this year. I'm very hopeful that they can hit the ground running. But if they can't hit the ground running, we got to wait the year 2 for them to be at their peak, because some of these guys will be gone and other guys will be brought in. And I'm still waiting on them to sign Christian Wilkins on his long-term extension. I need to know this number. But again, though, real talk, though, all of this talk about Fangio, that's typically, you would think that this man has a top 10 defense every year, and that's not the case. It's not the case. Give me a second. Appreciate it. My bad, y'all. Nobody has top 10 every year. And I agree with that. But why does everybody think that this is the year we do, though? That's the point I'm making. It's the point I'm making. And I'm sorry. Well, let me backtrack that. Nobody has top 10 every year. That's not true. Historically great defenses, top 10 every year. I mean, you can look at Buffalo. They probably have been top 10 for the last couple years, several years. The Patriots probably been top 10 the last few years. This is a real reality. It's a real reality. It's not the guy, it's his tree he brings. It's not the guy, it's his tree he brings. What do you mean? What are you talking about, all saying? The tree he brings. Are you talking about Fangio's tree? Please don't tell me you talk about Fangio's tree. Because Fangio's coaching tree on defense the last 2 years, none of them have had a defense in the top 20. Real talk. Everybody who runs Fangio's system the last few years have been 26, 28, 31st in the NFL on defense. It's been very horrible. The people duplicating Fangio's system, the guys that come from up under him, the league has figured it out. That's why I was happy and I was glad when he said, I got some new coverages I've been working on that I want to try. Well, good. At least you're not expecting to just do the same old that you've been doing. And he said it in an interview, one of his last interviews. It's flattering that a lot of people do it, but also the more, he said it himself, he said the more that people do it out here, the more they get used to it and find ways to beat it. That's the downside to it. So we'll have to adjust and make adjustments. That's the positive thing, the fact that he already knows he has to make some adjustments. But will they work? We don't know because he hadn't made them yet. But TD, why did Fangio ignite a bidding war for his services? He must be doing something right. Well, in the NFL, people live off of reputations. Did you think Adam Gase would get another head coaching job after the Miami Dolphins? But he did, didn't he? And when he first came to Miami, what were we saying? He's the quarterback whisperer. He's the QB guru. Why were people calling him the QB guru? Why were they saying that? It all goes back to Peyton Manning. That's it. So a lot of coaches get these titles of guruship and stuff because of 1 or 2 years that they blew everybody's mind. And we just automatically allow them to have that title for the next 10 years. They automatically get this guru title. But he blew his title when he was terrible as a head coach in Denver. So people are like, well, he should still be good as a defensive coordinator. See, once you do a few years of looking amazing as a coordinator, you get your head coaching shot. But they don't know if you were great because of the talent you had or if you were just great. But you always get the benefit of the doubt and say that you were just great. He was known by what he was able to do versus guys like Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen about 4 years ago, 5 years ago. Patrick Mahomes in particular. And Brady. There were some big games where he had his scheme dialed up and it was phenomenal and it stopped these guys. And all of a sudden, he's the guru dialing up these. I mean, you ain't got to look far. Look at Brian Flores. Look at Brian Flores. You want to know something about Brian Flores that nobody talks about? He's not the orchestrator of a zero blitz. His niche ain't the zero blitz. That ain't his specialty. It's just that when we ran it, it was so successful that we ran it more. And people start saying that was his niche. And he was like, hey, y'all ain't doing nothing but giving me kudos. It's making me look like I got a staple. That ain't Brian Flores is what he came in. He didn't get hired by the Dolphins and say, I'm going to implement this zero that's going to be deadly. And no. He was just at least smart enough to know that it works so much and people are having a hard time with it. So let's keep doing it. So sometimes you could be running your regular defense. A lot of stuff ain't working, but the things that are working, like you can run 10 defensive plays. 5 of them don't work. 5 of them are working. Eventually, you're going to scrap them 5 that don't work because you ain't got the personnel and they just ain't good at it. So now you got the other 5 on rotation. And out of them 5 you got on rotation that do work, 3 of them work way better than the other 2. You might do the other 2 a little less, and now you're starting to have an identity. It ain't that you're the orchestrator and that's your niche. No, you're just going through elimination. And at the end of the season, all of a sudden, you a guru, you run this, you do this, and it works, it confuses. Sometimes we glorify guys when they stumble upon something and they keep doing it and it keeps working. And sometimes it can be off of one game. It could be the biggest stage, the Super Bowl. TD can be in the Super Bowl playing against Patrick Mahomes, and I keep running one play that's really giving him fits, and I'm like, he can't figure this out. And we win the Super Bowl, and at the end of the day, this defense just absolutely confused him. He might suck at Tampa, and I just keep running Tampa and doing it in different ways. This time we're going to run Tampa, but we're going to back out. The linebacker going to come, and the DN going to go back and cover the middle of the field. Whatever. I can do it in so many, and next thing you know, TD is the defensive guru that shut Mahomes down and had the game plan that worked. Now there's a bidding war for me. Sometimes it's just that simple. A lot of times we get these coaches this immense credit that, I'm sorry, we get these coaches this credit that they got from players, stacked rosters. It's just a reality. Hold on. Give me a second. Because I got to see something. TD is Fletch on Lakers now. Fletch, who is that? I don't know who that is. Give me a second. Yeah, give me a second. So I kind of want to evaluate this real quick. And I don't know if y'all can remember backwards, okay? I don't know if y'all can remember back that well. But let's try to do this real quick, if you don't mind. I want to try this. Let's go week to week. Okay. Because I want to go to that year where he had the number 3 defense. Okay. 2021, just 2 years ago. Not last year, but the year before. Okay. So I want to ask y'all a question as I go through this. 2 years ago, did the Giants have a good offense? 2 years ago, did the Giants have a good offense? The New York Giants, 2 years ago. Because I want to show you something. The answer should be no. They held them to 13 points. Okay. Did 2 years ago, did the Jacksonville Jaguars have a good offense? 2 years ago now. Did the Jacksonville Jaguars have a good offense? Trevor's rookie year. The answer again should be no. Held them to 13 points. 2 years ago, did the New York Jets have a good offense? We all know the answer is no. Held them to 0 points. Did Baltimore have a good offense? Of course they did, as they always do. 23 points. Did Pittsburgh have a good offense 2 years ago? Man, I don't know if Ben was, I don't even remember if Ben was there or not, but they gave up 27 points anyway. 2 years ago, did the Raiders have a good offense? Absolutely. Not last year, but 2 years ago, they had a great offense. 34 points given up. Now, 2 years ago, did Cleveland Browns have a good offense? Did the Cleveland Browns have a good offense 2 years ago, which led them to have to trade for Deshaun Watson? That was Ben Roethlisberger last year. Okay. Well, held them to 17 because they were trash with Ben anyway at the end. But the Browns, Baker Mayfield's last year, what made them want to get rid of him? Trash. Held them to 17 points. Washington football team, did they have a good offense 2 years ago? Nope. Held them to 10 points. Dallas Cowboys. I don't know if this was the year Dak and Zeke was both hurt. And I don't know who played in this game. Let me see here. I'm coming. But held them to 16. That's a good one, depending on who was playing. I don't know who was playing. Matter of fact, I can just click on it and say box score. Hold on, let me just make sure something. Y'all give me a second. I can't find it. I'm just gonna say yeah, they were playing. So that was a good defensive performance. The first one, the first performance that was a good defensive performance against a good offense. Then they played the Eagles. Hurts rookie year, they gave up 30 points. Then they played the Chiefs, and remember what I told y'all. They lost. They gave up 22 points. They lost to the Chiefs. Okay? Detroit Lions 2 years ago, no offense. That defense was fighting. 10 points. The Chargers again, they played the Chargers and gave up 34 points. They played the Chiefs again and gave up 28 points. They played the Raiders again and gave up 17. And here's the last performance that was impressive. The Bengals, they only gave up 15, but they still lost. So 2 impressive stops, but they played a whole bunch of bums. They played a whole bunch of bums. 2 impressive defensive performances and a whole bunch of bad teams that they held down. And they were the 3rd-ranked defense in the NFL. So, yeah, I'm sorry. So at the end of the day, sometimes we glorify people, and look how it usually ends up. Look at Joe Philbin. Freaking Joe Philbin. Freaking Adam Gase. Now you hate Flores, but we glorified him at first. We love McDaniel. In the first sign of trouble this year, they were blaming him. This is just what it is, man. I'm going to wait till tomorrow to talk about the Tua thing, man. I'm about to get up out of here. It's almost midnight. But I'm worried, y'all. We got the team to do it. Can we stay healthy? Can the O-line play good? Can the defense actually be great? And Tua, we got to do it now. That's the frustrating part. We got to win now. But can we put all that together simultaneously together at the same time? I hope so. This TDPHINSTALK, home of the real Miami Dolphin fans. We're at 24,996 subscribers. So we're 4 subscribers away from 25,000. If you're not subscribed, go ahead and do it now. We should hit it by Sunday for sure, but we're 4 subscribers away. All right. Love y'all. Appreciate y'all. Fins up no matter what. I'll see y'all tomorrow, man. I hope we can do it. I really do. We have to.